Hello, this is episode 3 of the LC Mapcast. I'm Cinnabun, and this time I'm with a special guest, Noffy. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Noffy. I'm a member of the nomination assessment team and a big nerd.
Thank you. And where are you from, Noffy?
I'm from the East Coast of America.
Nice. And I guess starting first into our questions here, how did you first get into LSU?
Around 7 years ago now, I used to follow a bunch of Vocaloid YouTubers that would post random stuff, and someone just posted them playing Matryoshka on normal really badly, and so I was a big fan of other games, like Project Diva at the time, and so I thought, oh, this is another game I can play Vocaloid songs on.
And you've just been playing only Vocaloid songs since?
Um, mainly.
Yeah, that's cool.
I play other maps too, especially since I got more into mapping to see like what other people do.
That's fair.
But playing songs that I like is my main priority.
Who is your favorite Vocaloid?
Kagamine Len.
Ah, nice. I am more of a Miku guy. Alright, so are there any things you do outside of LSU?
Yeah, right now I'm in university studying media arts.
Oh,
So
impressive.
basically I do like graphics or animation and video editing, and some of that I use on OS for like making storyboards or background images for some maps.
Oh, you make your own BGs?
Not on my own sets that much, but like some Mapper Guild sets will have Noffy backgrounds, especially the older ones from before the guild went public.
Oh, that's super cool. Did you like? Would you say it's helped you in LSU a lot, or LSU has helped you with that?
OS has helped me with that because I just like having ways to do what I like doing with graphics.
That's really cool. And so when you've been here for like a long time, 7 years, you said. So have you always been a player, or like how did you start getting into mapping?
Back in like early 2015, I was a really big fan of the beat map Yellow by Chrism. Or Chrism? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But basically, I was a really big fan of it and would play it for hours at a time. And that's how I have over 500 plays of it. And so basically, I read his user page and it really inspired me because he has a lot of really nice information on his page about how mapping is kind of like choreographing a dance or how it varies from person to person.
Yeah.
And to read that from someone I looked up to so much, it really made a big impact on me. So that year, I had like done little beat maps before over the years, but that year I started trying to do it more seriously.
That's sweet. And how long have you been mapping before going for like, NAT, B, and all that?
There was around like 3 to 4 years where I just did mapping as a regular user. And I always did modding, but I was never super active in it.
Did you enjoy modding more?
Until it used to be about the same. Now I'd say I enjoy modding more because I like being able to help push others' maps that I like a lot into the ranked section.
That's cool. And were you originally a BN before moving on to NAT?
But yeah, I was BN for a little bit less than a year before I got asked to join the QAT.
All right.
And then shortly after the QAT was changed for the NAT, like April 2019, I took a break for a couple of months because of some stress I was going through in real life.
I understand.
Now I'm back.
Hey, that's good. So what got you like to start going for BN originally? Like from mapping moving on to BN Ning.
I'd say that would just be like the most effective way for me to help out people. Because a lot of times I would run into maps that I thought were really cool and I didn't have much to say for them, but I couldn't do anything about it very much.
Right, that's fair. And when you became a BN, did you originally want to move on to QAT, or like you just went because you got asked?
Well, shortly before I became BN, I was also a member of the metadata helpers, and I would be really active in checking metadata and stuff. And there was a period in time where the QAT had like a specific group of people that would just be dedicated to dequeuing maps for metadata and checking it. And there was a period of a couple of months where I did more metadata checking than most of them, and so I felt like I should have been a QAT. But at the same time, I didn't end up becoming one for like another 6 months, which I'm glad for, because by that point the QAT had changed to be more modding focused and getting rid of like the extra stuff like that. So that really, I was really fixated on it, but having to wait helped me focus on modding more and improving in that.
Right. And so like how is NAT different now than QAT? Like what changed between the two?
Well, it's really more what kind of changed for the nominators, because what the NAT does is pretty similar to before, where we're evaluating applications in the current nominators, handling reports on the nominators or other cases in the mapping community. But before, when it was QAT, only the QAT could do DQs. But with the NAT, both NAT and BNs can do DQs.
Oh, okay. And I guess you already answered what I was going to say, what exactly NAT does.
Yeah.
And so what are some things that you've like had a hand in, like for changing or like fixing as an NAT?
I wouldn't say that I'm part of big particular projects, but I'm really active overall in helping make sure stuff gets done, like applications or writing feedback. Or what we've been trying to do lately for like current BN evaluations was, in the past, if someone was doing good, we would just kind of put in their feedback, oh, nothing notable, carry on. But now we like try to make the messages more special to show the BNs that we care about them, because I know I do.
Right. That's cute. And like, do you nominate people yourself, or is it like a process that goes?
Anyone can apply for BN, and basically the NAT, depending on which mode, it'll be a different amount. It'll go into like individual evaluations for a week, where the NAT can submit their own personal evaluation of the person. And during that period, nobody else can read it. This is to prevent like confirmation bias, where some members see what other people have said and just kind of agree with them.
That makes sense.
And so once everyone that's assigned to the applicant has submitted their evaluation, it goes into the group phase where we work on finalizing our thoughts and writing their feedback.
And then they become BN or not?
Yeah.
That's cool. And so I guess like while being an NAT, what do you enjoy most about that?
I think what I enjoy the most is it lets me do more.
What do you mean by that?
Because as a BN, I could focus on just nominating maps, but as an NAT, I can do both evaluations, looking at applicants, and to me, I kind of view that as kind of like modding someone else's mods to try to give them some direction on how to improve.
Yeah, I get that.
And it just puts me in a good position to try to take leadership in a lot of different areas, like trying to put some news posts together or things like that.
And you enjoy being like known like that? You enjoy being known as that?
For now, I do, yeah.
That's cool. And I guess, moving on to the opposite, what do you enjoy least about being an NAT?
Sometimes a lot of people will often message me, even when I'm explicitly taking a break, and that can be kind of stressful sometimes, because I want to be able to help people out as much as they can, but I'm not always in the position where I can do that, or I'm not having a good day or things like that.
That makes sense. Do you like post when you are taking requests and stuff like that, or it's just like random?
If I'm taking a longer break, I'll usually post it, but people will tend to ask me for help anyways.
That's kind of annoying.
It has its pros and cons.
That's fair. And do you still like map often today, or do you focus more on like stuff for NAT or modding, etc.?
Oh yeah, I still map pretty often. I've been a bit busy the past couple of months, so I haven't made a new set recently. But I managed to rank like 8 or 9 sets in 2019, which is a really big accomplishment
That's
for
impressive.
me. Mm-hmm.
And what would you say is your best map, or like the map you're most proud of?
When it comes to my maps, I have different maps I'm proud of for different reasons. Like, I have this map set of the transient Apple salesgirl, or like Ringo Uri no Utakata Shoujo, I think is the Japanese title.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'm really proud of that one because I made 2.5 diffs on a 6-minute song.
That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what are your other ones?
I really like... Right now I'm working on a personal project of mine, kind of, for the Putin P series, which is a Vocaloid song series.
Mm-hmm.
And I've ranked like 5 songs from that artist so far, and what I would say is really cool about them is that the sets are all pretty different from each other. Because that's what I try to do, is like make each map set distinct.
And so like different styles and all that?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And so how like do you find it switching, like is it hard switching from like modding to mapping to like doing other stuff, or do you have like a kind of like a set schedule for each?
I just do what I think is most urgent at the time, for the most part, or what catches my attention. I'll have like a list of mods I need to do and maps I want to do, and then the BN website tells me what I have to do as an NAT, like, because we have assigned due dates for applications being done and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't really have a set schedule, like I'll do mapping this day and modding this day. It's kind of what I feel like doing.
Right. And do you have like a queue where people find you, or you just get asked like PMs?
I get asked in PMs a lot, and I don't keep a queue anymore because my old goal was trying to clear all my requests before opening a queue, but what always tends to happen is someone will PM me in game with their map, and it's a really cool map, and I'll be like, yes, but I still have other requests, so
right.
I never end up finishing my requests.
It becomes a backlog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel that. And for like for newer mappers, is there like, what kind of advice can you give, like, you know, as someone who's an NAT for that?
When it comes to like improving and mapping and becoming involved, it's like genuinely reach out to people and try not to take feedback personally. Like, if someone tells you your map sucks and why, try to focus on that rather than what a lot of people might try to do that I've seen is either they won't believe you, which kind of limits their perspective on how much they can improve, or they'll get hurt by it because they take it as like an insult to them personally.
Right. So yeah, that's cool. And so when people like what kind of styles, like when they approach you, what kind of styles do you look for when mapping, or like, you know, songs, or like styling of the map?
I don't really have personal preference on the styles and even the songs that much, as long as the map makes sense within itself and stays true to itself, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by that?
Like, it keeps the same kind of idea throughout the map and follows the song in a good way.
Structured well?
Basically, the only kind of map I would straight up reject is ones where the songs literally hurt my ears.
So like metal, or what kind?
Very noisy songs, or sometimes ones with lots of screaming in them.
Okay, I see. Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit overbearing. Are there like any artists you prefer mostly?
My policy is map Numtaco 5 because Numtaco 5 is the genius that made the Putin P series, but nobody listens to me on this. I really like to accept songs for Vocaloid songs, especially. Right. As well as sometimes Utayate covers of those songs.
That's cool.
And really makes me happy when someone comes to me because somebody else recommended them to me, like, yes, my plan is working. Bring me all the Vocaloid songs.
Yeah, like just a massive collection of Vocaloid songs?
Yeah.
That's cool. What has NAT unlocked for you, like, specifically?
What for me?
Has it, like, unlocked, like, have you met, like, more people, or, like, how like, it changed you or any way? Since it is, like, a big deal.
I think it's made me more responsible because I have to be aware of how I interact with others, as well as I tend to see a lot of the worst of how BNs or other people may act in the modding community, and as well as trying to resolve those issues. And so it makes me pretty aware of what's going on in the mapping community more so than before, where I kind of stayed in my own corner and did my own stuff solo most of the time.
So you're, like, more engaged with the community now?
Yeah.
That's really cool. And, like, so what are your favorite aspects of the community?
I really like how people collaborate with each other just because, for the most part, they find the game fun or find mapping to be fun or enjoyable in some other way. And just how big OS has gotten just from that kind of community spirit that drives it forward. Because it's really amazing when you think about it, like, because just a single map can take so much time, but there's so many people all contributing their own ideas that we have this massive ranked section. And so many people just, like, modding each other's maps just because someone asked, and often without very much other reward besides helping other people improve.
Yeah, it is really cool. And I guess, like, you know, again, on the opposite, what's your least favorite thing about the community?
Sometimes when it comes to the community, people will get into their own cliques and maybe not see eye to eye. And being in separate Discord servers like we do now a lot can make it feel a little bit more separated than before, I think.
Like, kind of like a echo chamber?
Uh-huh. Or that it's just so big you can't feasibly keep track of everyone or everything.
Right. Because Osu is a massive game.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned earlier, like, you've done a lot for, like, metadata. So what exactly, like, have you changed in the ranking criteria and stuff like that you've, like, had a part in regarding metadata?
In the early part of 2018, there wasn't really any ranking criteria practically for metadata. A lot of it was unwritten rules or standards that we went by just because. And so this brought up a lot of questions and confusion, like, how do we know what's the most official source to follow? Or how do we know to fix this or that in the Romanized field? So basically what we tried to do was combine Ephemeral's proposal for standardizing stuff and I Am Quan's proposal for writing down the unwritten rules into a whole new thing. But the first iteration of that was kind of a disaster because there was so much we tried to cover that we missed a lot of loopholes or things that really didn't make sense that we had applied to the ranking criteria. And so we had to rewrite it again by sitting down and going through it.
Did that take a long time?
It took like a week or so of actually talking about it, but the time before that, trying to deal with all the confusion was pretty draining.
I bet.
And,
like, how does the process... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I think, like, the end result now is things are a lot more consistent and easy to follow if you read it, although the metadata section of the ranking criteria is pretty long. It might seem intimidating. And it's at a good state now where it makes sense, even if not everyone will agree with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so, like, what is the process of, like, changing something in the whole ranking criteria? Like, is it long and hard, or you guys, like, just, like you said, talk about it?
Well, it's mostly, like, these days, it's mostly just based off of people opening proposal threads for stuff that they think should be discussed or addressed. And oftentimes for bigger issues, I'll go around like the BN server and ping people like, hey guys, check out this thread. Please give feedback. And in that sense, the ranking criteria is overall easier to change than it has been, because anyone can open a thread and get their opinion seen.
How often do you guys change it?
Really frequently. Like right now, we're working on this new news post series called the Mappers Report, and part of that includes a summary of all the ranking criteria changes in the past like month and a half or so.
Oh, that's cool.
And for that short amount of time, there's a lot of smaller changes that happen, like wording fixes or small things. They tend to add up really quickly.
Also, not something like major yet, or?
Yeah, we haven't had major changes in a while.
That's fair. And what is like some changes you'd like to see or like are working on now?
Trying to make everything more clear how applications or evaluations work is something I'm personally working on right now.
For BNs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because right now it's a lot of stuff that the NAT knows really well, but there isn't a good written record of it so that BNs know. Because sometimes new BNs might freak out when they're on probation because they don't clearly know how much they should be doing to pass, or things like that.
Right.
And just working on that communication factor a lot more.
Yeah, that's always good. So is it like something you guys are working on actively right now, or something you want to change?
Well, I've been working on a wiki article about the particulars of how it works and what's expected, so that's one thing. Another thing we've been doing is hosting regular meetings in the OS dev server about different topics that we want to work on or take another look at to make sure whether we need to change anything in the current system or not.
Right.
And some topics we've gone over is like, how do we elect new NATs, or when do we need new NATs, or what do we expect for BNs, or how can we improve the application process? A lot of different topics like that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's a bunch to keep track of. And for like how does one, or like what's your advice for like when finding metadata, how should someone go about doing that, coming from like you?
Look it up on Google.
What's the easiest way? I have heard like YouTube is not a reliable source.
Basically you have to just make sure that the sources are from the artists themselves or directly from their label, like their website, their YouTube, rather than random reprints, or their Bandcamp, or their SoundCloud, or their CDs.
There you go.
And since it's so common, I would like to note that for anime metadata, if you look up the anime on Wikipedia in English, 9 times out of 10, they will link the Japanese website at the bottom of it. So if you can't type in Japanese, that's a great way to find their website.
A life hack right there. Because, yeah, finding Japanese metadata is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely use that now. Well, yeah, now we are, like, coming to a close. So I do have to say, is there, like, stuff you want to shout out, or, like, where can people find you if they want to, hey, Noffy, not my map?
I'm Noffy on Twitter. I retweet art a lot, and sometimes tweet about important things, but that's much rarer. Also, MapNumTaco5, thank you. He's a great artist. Thank you.
Well, you heard it here. Go do that, guys. And yeah, I'll leave all links in the description. And thank you for listening. And thank you, Noffy, for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And I've been Cinnabun. This has been Noffy. Thank you for listening. If you have any feedback or if you just enjoyed the video, please do like it. And all feedback is appreciated. And I do have one final question for you, Noffy. And that is, will you nominate my map?
Maybe.
All right, I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And bye.
Bye.